Testing, testing, testing. November 9, Delta Delta, QRZ. CQ is the frequency in use, is the frequency in use. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 meters. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 meters. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. This is November 9, Delta Delta. November 9, Delta Delta. Norway 9, Denmark November 9, Delta Delta calling CQ40 and listening. CQ 40 meters, CQ 40 meters, CQ 40 meters. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. CQ 40, CQ 40, CQ 40 meters. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. CQ 40, CQ 40, CQ 40 meters. This is November 9, Delta Delta. November 9, Delta Delta. Norway 9, Denmark CQ.
November 2, Mike Alpha. Delta X-ray.
November 2, Mike Alpha, question mark?
Uniform.
November 2, Mike Alpha uniform. This is November 9, Delta Delta returning. Thank you very much for the call. Name here is Mike, Mexico, India, Kilowatt Echo Mike, and we're located just south of the city of Atlanta in Stockbridge, Georgia. And you've got a good signal, 5.9 plus a little bit here into Atlanta. I'll give you a better reading on the over. November 2, Mike Alpha United. November 9, Delta Delta.
Yeah, November 9, Delta Delta. I got you here at the 5-7 in Silver Coast, Maryland.
Thank you, very good for the report from Silver Coast, Maryland, I think you said. Was that correct?
Actually, it's called Chevy Chase, just like the comedian Chevy Chase. I can tell you the story.
All right, very good. Yeah, your signal is about a 5.8, 5.9 here into Atlanta. A little bit of QSB, it sounds like, on the band, but you're sounding very, very good. We're just testing out a new toy. We put Remote TX up with the icom 7300. We normally have a flex that we run, but we've got the 7300 in the operating position right now, and just giving it a try. Over.
Yeah, sounds good. Just above my voice level here. My voice level is very high today, but I got all that, so that's good. And let's see, so it was November, I didn't get the number. That?
Yeah, no, it's November 9, Delta Delta. Norway 9, Denmark. Double N 9, double D. Over.
That's a wonderful call sign. I'm curious to answer for it, right? Great. So mine is a advanced call sign too. My name is Mao, M-A-U, just like the call sign. Over.
Very good. Well, that makes it easy to remember, I guess, then. I don't have a three-letter name, so it'll never work. But, very good. I like my call. I was originally licensed 40 years ago, maybe this month. I guess it was June of 81. So 40 years ago this month, was licensed as November 9, Delta Fox Delta, and had that call for about 35 of the 40 years. And about 5 years ago, I just said, I want something new, and went looking, and I liked my N's and D's and and the 9, and this call was available, and I just jumped on it, and it's great for CW, and it's kind of catchy to boot, so it just works. Over.
Yeah, it really is. It's very catchy. Well, I answer you. I didn't start the hobby until about 5 months ago. The retirement project, and having a lot of fun with it. So, stick with it. Over.
Yeah, no, very good. It's been a lot of fun for me over the 40 years. I've done a lot of different things with it. I've done 2 meter satellite work, bouncing it off of satellites and space station at on 2 meters and 440, and got into contesting. So now I'd say I'm a contester more than anything else. I chase DX and stuff. I've got 200 and I think about 50 countries in, and I'm not one of those guys who goes crazy about chasing a country every time it comes on the air. You got to go get it, get it, get it. But I work them as I can, and I like to think I try to give back a little bit as much as I take anyway. Over.
Yeah. Of course, we're getting closer even nearer into the field day as a first project for me. I won't do any radio work, but I'm starting to doing
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's coming up here, and I guess might be next weekend. I got to look at the calendar, but that's a lot of fun. I always enjoy getting on for. I like to sit down and try to do the whole contest, but it just seems like my work schedule and everything else gets in the way anymore. So it's work when you can, I guess. But that'll be fun. It's always fun to get out there and make a few contacts and see how fast and how many you can get over.
well, maybe we'll hear you in 2 weeks, and that will be fun. It's good to talk to you. Thanks for the comments and for doing this. And we'll talk to you again, hopefully. November 9, Denmark, this is November 2, Mike Alpha Uniform, 7-3.
All right, 73's Mao, and thank you very much for the contact. You're doing well for 4 months in. Rig is sounding good, audio sounding good, and everything works. So 73's, have a good evening. November 9, Delta 73.
November 9, Delta, Whiskey Bravo number 4, November Whiskey Victor.
Okay, Whiskey, I got Bravo 4, November Whiskey Victor, November 9, Delta. Name here is Mike, Mexico India Kilowatt Echo. We're just south of Atlanta in the city of Stockbridge, Georgia. You're very loud. I'll give you a report on the over. WB4, NWV, NN90D.
Okay, Mike. Well, you are 20 over F9 into Pensacola, Florida this evening. Nice signal from Atlanta area. And if you're hearing me as well as I'm hearing you, then it's a nice contact we're going to have. Name here is Frank. Foxtrot Romeo Alpha November Kilo, and I'm in, like I said, Pensacola, Florida, running a Yaesu FT891 into a solid-state 500-watt no-tune amp made by a company called Trans World, TW500A. And I'm running the output of that into an antenna of my own design called the Tune A antenna. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not, but maybe you have. So back to you. I wonder what you're using there. NN9DD, WB4NWV.
WB4NWV, November 9, Delta returning. And no, you're doing a fantastic signal there. The amplifier's doing great. Everything sounds real good. You're at least the 20 over. I think you're pushing a little more than that when it's peaking. So you're sounding very, very strong here, just south, excuse me, of Atlanta. Excuse me, fighting a little sinus congestion lately. Allergies from the trees blooming in the yard. But no, yeah, we're running a icom 7300 barefoot, 100 watts into a 40-meter dipole up about 65, 70 feet here up above the house. And we are running it I'm in the office, but I've got it set up in a remote configuration right now, just testing that. So this is how I would run it if I was running it remote. So technically I am remote, but I'm in the office, and I'm connected through a Raspberry Pi, throwing the audio and everything across that way from the internet over.
Well, it's working for you, no doubt about that. And you got a great signal here, so your 100 watts is really doing the job. I'm jealous. I'm having to run 5 times that and get the same signal report. So you're doing a good job. I didn't know had ever heard of the antenna I'm using. It's called a Cqing antenna. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I have not, but I'm just punching it into Google right now to see what it is. I'm always interested in new antennas. I like to kind of dabble and find the best thing, at the time and see what it does. So we just punched in a Cqing antenna, and we'll see what comes up.
Yeah, if you don't spell it right, you're not going to get anything. It's tune, as in Tune, dash the letter A dash tenna, Tenna, tune dash A dash tenna.
There we go. Well, that brought up something. The first one didn't. But that one did. One antenna for all frequencies. So tell me about it. Is it a like a fan dipole or a regular dipole? I'm just bringing it up here. I guess it's looking at it. It looks like a standard kind of V dipole. Tell me more.
Well, it's very simple, Mike. It's a very simple device. It's a electromechanical inverted V dipole, wire dipole. Very simple and very built, very regularly built, very high quality materials. But no electronics, so there's nothing to fail or go bad. And basically it's an inverted V wire dipole, but it is remotely adjustable from in the shack as far as the length goes. You can actually extend it out from 4 feet on each side to 150 feet on each side, so it operates from 6 meters, the top of 6 meters, down to the top of the AM broadcast band. So it covers all of the ham bands and everything in between. Not just bands, but the entire spectrum, 1-to-1 SWR, no tuner required, no tricks, no gimmicks, no 55-to-1 ballons, no dummy load antennas, just a truly resonant cut-to-frequency antenna at any frequency. And that's it. It's very basically pretty simple.
Oh, very good. So is there a little motor up there on the antenna? Because it looks like in some of the pictures when you're looking through the various bands, there's movement on that little stub on each side. So I'm assuming it's pulling wire back and forth, and there must be some sort of motor up there. Over.
Yeah, there's a small 3-amp high torque 12-volt DC motor with a worm gear gearbox on it. And it's in a little plastic box, and you can throw a line over a tree limb and pull it up, and you stake out the trolley lines made out of masterant guy cable material, and you just put 12 volts to it, and there's 2 reels, stainless reels. It's a gearbox that has dual axles, one out the left, one out the right. Each axle has an insulator on it. Each insulator has a stainless steel reel on it, and there's 150 feet of stranded stainless 7x7 cable. It's basically like fishing leader line because it's very small, 1/32 of an inch in diameter. And you just put 12 volts positive to it, and the antenna reels turn the same direction. They feed out the bottom of the box. One feeds out the left, one feeds out the right, just like an inverted V. There's a insulator on the end of the antenna element, and then there's a 1-pound weight. And there's a little spacer at the top of the weight that's 6 inches long that goes up to a pulley, which is stainless also.
and that pulley rides up and down on your non-metallic guy line or trolley line. So it's 6 inches, stays 6 inches underneath the non-metallic guy line that supports the pole if you're using a pole. Or if you just got it thrown up over a tree limb and pull it up, it keeps the antenna from moving when you stake it out. And it's staked out like an inverted V, and the antenna just runs down underneath it 6 inches below it to whatever length you want until you come into resonance where the frequency that you're operating. And you can just watch the watt meter, and you'll see your forward power go to max and your reflective power go flat, and you just let off the switch, and you have a custom length antenna for that frequency. It's really very simple.
You know, it doesn't look so simple looking at the diagram, but I mean it, or at the box there, but it does sound very simple and basic. It sounds like, I guess, a little like, you know, nothing like, but a little like the control, at least the way you operate it. My dad lives in the HOA restricted area, so I've got him a little one of those MFJ loop antennas, and kind of the same concept. You turn the wheel until you get a match and let it go, and you're good there. And then when you remove, you got to retune. And his, you got to retune a lot more because it's such narrow bandwidths with that type of device. But yours, I'm sure, is a little more broadbanded than that. But very interesting.
Well, the nice thing is if you're on 80 at the top of the band and you decide to go down the bottom of the band, you just tap the switch a couple of times and you're flat again. It's really, really very simple and really works really well.
Yeah, no, it looks like it would. Looks like it would. It's kind of unique. So is anybody manufacturing those, or you just got a design, you built your own?
I build them one at a time, and I have given away some to some friends, and but I've sold 4 of them of this version of it. And the earlier version I sold a few of, but it had some drawbacks, so I went back to the drawing board, and I've been working on this project for about 15 years. Spent about $40,000 on it so far. I would say I've lost money, at least until I gain my $40,000 back. So I haven't made any money, but I've got some of my $40,000 back, but not much. I've sold 3 of them at the asking price. Some of the other ones before that I put on eBay, and of course people weren't familiar with it, and they didn't really know what they were buying, so they didn't really bid on it very hard. But I have sold lately. I've sold 3 at the asking price, and I was very happy about that. A lot of people, you know, they say it's just a wire antenna, so they can't justify spending that kind of money. And I say, well, it doesn't cost any more than a legal limit auto tuner, and that's a terrible compromise. So why would you spend that kind of money on a legal limit auto tuner, but yet not spend it on an antenna that's perfectly resonant on every frequency? And, you know, after they think about it, they come back and they go, you know what, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you need both, kind of, you know, to run the amp. You don't need the antenna tuner, but you need a resonant antenna to run your amp with. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense. So, you know, I mean, you're right. I mean, if it's in the price range I'm thinking of, it's, you know, it's a little pricey for an antenna, but at the same point, it's accomplishing the same thing as what you just said with the legal limit amp. So, you know, and they're not terribly expensive. So, I mean, that's not terribly unreasonable. I could see something like that as an option. You know, my biggest thing is the amount of trees I have on my lot. So that's why I'm always looking for unique antennas. I got a 100-foot tower that I am contemplating putting up, but I just don't know if I can put it up because I don't know if I can put the guy wires in and be clear of trees enough to be comfortable that, you know, something isn't going to happen down the road. So we're toying with that idea too. But if I got up those guy wires, that wouldn't be a bad addition to have. Over.
Your tower, is it around 25?
45.
Oh, well, goodness, man. You can just, you could bracket that on the side of your house, on the back or whatever, and put in a good concrete base, and that thing's good to go up to 50 feet with no guys, even in high winds. So, and if you're at 50 feet, you can operate this tuna antenna from 80 meters and up. Now, if you're going to go 160, you're going to need, about a 100-foot tower minimum in order to make it work properly, because you got to be at about a 45-degree angle on your guy lines or your trolley lines, so that the thing will work smooth. And so you'll have a good radiation pattern, because it is patterned after standard inverted V, and the slope is 45 degrees. But that also does make the trolley line work really smooth too, and that's important because you got a little weight on there, and it uses gravity to keep tension on it, to keep it rolling on and off the reel nice and snug, but not too tight. So yeah, 45 degrees plus or minus 5 or 10 degrees works no problem at all. So yeah, if you had a 50-foot RON 45 and you had a good base on it and you had it bracketed to the side of your house, you wouldn't even need any guys.
Yeah, that's one of the deals, though. My wife won't let me put it up here by the house. I got about 1.25 acres, and she wants it down the property and away from the house. She made that clear, so got to live by that rule, I guess.
Well, still, I think it says if you got a correct base on it, I don't even know. I know that was with the RON 25. You could go up to 50 feet with its side bracketed, but I think the RON 45 is a little stouter tower, so I'm thinking it'd probably go 50 feet. Well, my friend had one 50 feet RON 25. It was unguyed, and it was near his house, but it wasn't attached to his house. So I'm pretty sure that 25 will go 50 feet self-supporting. And so the RON 45, I know, will go 50 feet without any problems with no guys.
Yeah, I would think so. Just kind of looking at it, their literature, I think, talks 40 to 45, but that's them being safe. You could probably push it to 50 and not worry a whole bunch. It just kind of depends on what kind of wind load I put up on the top. Ideally, I'd like a 40-meter rotatable device. The antenna I'd love to get is just too big for the space I got. I'd love to get a 4-element JK 40 meter. That's just the ultimate antenna. I use it in some of the contest stations I work at, and that antenna, you just point it and talk and people listen. So that's the antenna I'd love to have, but it's way too big for the space. So maybe a rotatable dipole and some moderately good gain tri-band antenna, and that's all I'd put up there. So I probably could get away with 45 to 50 foot unsupported, as long as I don't go too crazy.
Yeah, another thing you can do is you can hook some master and guy cable material up at the top and have you some stakes already pre-located. And if you haven't expecting a big, terrible storm or something, you can go out there and just slip the guy lines over the top of the stakes temporarily until the storm's over. That will give you a little more peace of mind. So that would work too. And that way you don't need the permanent guys.
Yeah, one of my issues or concerns is trees. I got my lot is filled with about 150, 200 or 100 foot tall trees, pine trees and oak and cedar, and just I got very tall trees, and it seems like as they age, some of them are starting to fall. So having that antenna and everything back there in the forest is one of the things that concerns me, because putting up the guys, I'm worried about a tree falling into the guys and tearing the whole thing down. So that's my hold up right now, is trying to figure out what to do with this project so that I end up with a product I like and want, but feel comfortable enough that it's not going to fail or collapse or get collapsed onto. Over.
Yeah, Roger. We'll go into the middle of your forest there and cut you a big circle that's at least as far from the center to the edge of the circle as the tallest tree you have. Cut you a big circle out in the middle there and put your tower up in the middle of it, and that way you won't have to worry about anything falling on it. And you wouldn't have to have the guy lines so it's just not going to hit it anyway. And that's an option if you can bring yourself to cut down the trees.
Oh, I can do it. It's just the getting to them and getting them hauled. I think I put you on mute there for a second and lost my power, but you're back on. It's just the cost of having them either cut down or cutting them down myself. I'd like them hauled away. The area looks good back there. It's kind of we've spent some effort and made it kind of look like a little park back there. So just cleaning it up and stuff is going to be kind of a challenge, but we'll figure it out and get it done.
Yeah, I think we must have doubled there. I said, okay, I'll turn it over to you for your final, and hopefully we'll get to work again sometime. So back to you, WB4NWV.
Yeah, very good. I muted the mic on accident and stopped transmitting just randomly. But anyway, 73s, it's been good talking to you. I will keep you in mind because I'm kind of intrigued by your antenna, so you may hear from me again. So we'll say 73s and look for you again there. November, or Whiskey Bravo 4, November Whiskey Victor, Frank. This is November 9, Delta Delta 73.
All right, Mike, well, check out them YouTube videos, too. And this one guy, he got one from me, and he showed him receiving it and unboxing it and putting it up. It's kind of... I really kind of thought it was not very flattering to the antenna the way he installed it, but everybody has their own way of doing things. And you might find the video interesting. One shows him looking at his SWR meter on his radio and watching the SWR go flat and the full power going to max. And another one shows a GoPro camera following the weight up the trolley line. And another one showed him unpacking and installing it all. Anyway, you might enjoy the video. 73s, God bless. November 9, Delta Delta, Whiskey Bravo 4, November Whiskey Victor, 73.
73 and good evening. November 9, Delta Delta clear.
Here is Kilo Bravo 8, Foxtrot Bravo Yankee, okay. Yeah, there's an 8 station in there. I don't know if he's calling you, Mike, or if he's calling me.
I need to run downstairs, so you go ahead and take him.
Okay, Kilo Bravo 8, Foxtrot, question mark, question